I would now request Mr. Srinivasan Raghvan ji. India is a signatory to UN Convention on Genocide, yet we do not want to enact a law that recognizes genocide as a crime. How then can we prevent such happenings in the future? Raghvan ji.
Firstly, I thank Sikh Forum for this opportunity. और ये जो लीगल इश्यूज जेनोसाइड का, जैसे फुल्का जी ने कहा पहले कि 1984 के बाद कुछ पंजाबी सीख लिया, ये काम इनके साथ करके करके अभी थोड़ा लीगल वर्ड्स भी सीख लिया कि जेनोसाइड क्या होता है और जेनोसाइड एक्ट क्या है. सो जस्ट टेकिंग फॉरवर्ड जो वृंदा जी ने कहा कि इफेक्टिव लॉ एक होना चाहिए. इनफैक्ट 2012 में 4 साल पहले जब ये फॉरगॉटन सिटीजन्स का मूवमेंट, बहुत बढ़िया एक मूवमेंट चलाया हमने फ्रॉम अमृतसर. एट द एंड ऑफ इट वी हैड अ सेमिनार ऑन what can be an effective law to prevent communal violence. क्योंकि हम डेफिनेटली हर साल नवंबर 1 को हम रैली करते हैं, लेकिन हमारा कोशिश नहीं होगा कि 100 साल हम करते रहेंगे. ठीक है, बिकॉज वी हैव टू पुट एन एंड टू दिस, वी हैव टू फाइंड अ सोल्यूशन टू व्हाट इज़ हैपनिंग टुडे. सो उसमें उस सेमिनार में एक अच्छा our previous president, Justice Hosbert Suresh, he put forward, in fact, he had worked on a draft law with many of the panelists here, with Vrindaji, and I think Fulkaji was also involved, that ये जो genocide convention है, जो जिसमें इंडिया सिग्नेटरी थी 1959 में, और genocide convention का एक ऑब्लिगेशन है कि ये जो भी साइन करते हैं उसका रिफ्लेक्शन होना चाहिए हमारे कानूनी व्यवस्था में. उसका मतलब एक जेनोसाइड एक्ट, एक नेशनल जेनोसाइड एक्ट बनाना चाहिए. उसको चाहे जो भी नाम दें, जेनोसाइड एक्ट और कम्युनल वायलेंस प्रिवेंशन एक्ट, वॉट एवर इट इज़, बट एक एक्ट, ऐसे एक एक्ट होना चाहिए जो जेनोसाइड एक्ट का, जेनोसाइड कन्वेंशन का जो प्रिंसिपल्स है उसको उस एक्ट लागू करना चाहिए. And I will just in a few words talk about that principle which he explained, Justice Hosbert Suresh. That is, the principle should be that there should be no immunity for crimes of genocide, completely no immunity, doesn't matter who. Punishment to the guilty even if there was no law at the time of the crime. अगर post 1984 का भी act होता है वो, that is applicable to any genocide that has happened before. No statutes of limitation, उसमें कोई limitation नहीं होगा, statutory limitation. No limitation of time होगा. No prior sanction to prosecute होगा. No need for a complaint from the victim to investigate the crime. जैसे अभी point out किया कि delayed FIR, that where the victim has to go and file a case. The state will not do anything on its own, because it is very obvious that जब स्टेट इज बिहाइंड कम्युनल वायलेंस, जब खुद रूलिंग पार्टी और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ द टाइम इज responsible for that communal violence, why would they take any step to bring about such a law or to bring about a law under which anybody, doesn't matter what position they are sitting in, they are liable to be prosecuted. So ये जो प्रिंसिपल्स है एक ये जेनोसाइड कन्वेंशन का, वो लागू करने में क्या प्रॉब्लम है. इनफैक्ट जस्ट मैंने अभी पढ़ा दैट द ब्रोशर एंड इट इज एक्सप्लेन्ड ऑल अबाउट दैट जेनोसाइड कन्वेंशन एंड जेनोसाइड लॉ. इनफैक्ट ये जो आर्ग्यूमेंट है इधर, दैट इज़ व्हाट आई एम ऑल्सो ट्राइंग टू टेल, दैट अगर वो गवर्नमेंट ही एक्सेप्ट करते हैं, अभी बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट आके ये एक्सेप्ट किया कि ये जेनोसाइड है 1984, दे हैव नॉट ओपन देयर माउथ अबाउट 2002, बट एटलीस्ट 1984 का अग्रीमेंट है कि ये जेनोसाइड है, देन फिर उसका मतलब एक जेनोसाइड एक्ट होना चाहिए. इफ इट इज़ अ जेनोसाइड, देन समथिंग यूजिंग विच वी कैन चार्ज पीपल ऑन द क्वेश्चन ऑफ जेनोसाइड. नाउ दिस इज गोइंग बियॉन्ड इंडिविजुअल कन्विक्शन. It is not to do with, of course, जो व्यक्तिगत गुनहगार है उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई लेना ही चाहिए. लेकिन ये जो इट इज़ गोइंग बियॉन्ड, इट इज़ गोइंग समथिंग अबव individual responsibility towards a crime. It is talking about state's responsibility towards a crime. So how can we bring about such a law? जैसे वृंदा जी ने कहा अभी, people have to bring it. It is nobody is we cannot expect that the government is going to come down, and doesn't matter which government comes to power, both ruling and opposition, they are not going to bring any law against genocide, because every election, before, during, after election, the first thing that they do is divide the people on the basis of religion, try to incite passion, try to incite religious passion, and divide the people into vote banks. Without vote banks, they cannot survive. So, आज का जो राजनीतिक व्यवस्था है हिंदुस्तान में, वो completely vote bank के ऊपर निर्भर है. Everybody wants a vote bank. Everybody incites other religions. Everybody takes on issues every day. So, to really look at who will pass this act, it means that people have to be united, and people, लोगों के हाथ में ऐसा एक मैकेनिज्म होना चाहिए जिसको इस्तेमाल करके वो एक लेजिस्लेशन को इनिशिएट कर सकते हैं, और ये लेजिस्लेशन को लागू करने में भी उनका एक रोल होगा. इनफैक्ट दिस इज समथिंग विच हैजंट हैपन इन इंडिया टिल नाउ. I don't know what is the legal solution for that, because neither our constitution has any provision towards that, nor the Indian state is going to agree to that. But जब एक legislation बनता है, like I know I was following very closely on this draft legislation against communal violence. It went through several drafts. In fact, Lokra Sangathan was very closely involved, and Justice Suresh and other panelists, you know, every time they passed on draft, it was completely useless draft. We know that. It only strengthened the hands of the state, which itself was in this thing liable for prosecution, which itself stood as a criminal. So every time that there was a discussion on that act, on that draft bill, it was going from bad to worse. That is all we can say. So finally, the question is that if a law, if we cannot expect the ruling party and the state to pass such a law, then what is there in our hands? So what is left in our hands is, today there's nothing in our hands. We vote whenever there is an election, we go to vote. That is the only democratic right we have in India. उसके बाद कोई भी right नहीं है. In fact, the right to legislation, which is a very important right, and there are many countries where people have a mechanism to initiate legislation. But either they don't have any right. They have to depend on their elected representative, who themselves are rogues and thieves. So this, we'll have to look at how to take this forward. And this principles of the Genocide Convention seems to be something which internationally accepted. There are many countries which have passed. I don't know how far it has been effective in those countries, but it definitely follows. The Genocide Convention, it followed from whatever happened during the Second World War. And the world, throughout the world, people were interested that something like the Nazi Holocaust should not happen again. And that was the reason why that convention came into being. So I would request that we look at it closely and we try to see how to take this forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Raghavanji. I think he's made a very important suggestion. I would now